type of message is motivational and inspirational. Mr. Ricky.
If you involve people in your talk, they'll be more attentive.
Okay, give me the type of message. That's correct. That's absolutely right. So the first type of message is an instructional message. The second is motivational, inspirational. Seniors in the back, don't feel free to. Esteban. What's that? Promotional. Okay, so I'll say it again. There's instructional, teaching you something. There's motivational, inspiring, and promotional. Getting people excited about something, building value in something. This would be the get invited to SC2 talk that Karina gave. This would be the what's up for grabs. This would be the why I love branching from Luke SC1. This is the why I love management every week at your team meeting. Okay, so one more time, we're going to talk instructional. What's the second one? Motivational, inspirational. Third one is promotional. Okay. Also, we're going to talk about this later. Know your style. Okay, and I'll say this a different way. Know the appropriate style for your message. Know the appropriate style for your message. If I'm speaking, for example, if I'm speaking to TLA, Florida Caribbean Division, 18 to 25-year-old college students, I can do certain things. I can say certain jokes. I can say skirt, skirt, and the response, of course, is? And it's fun, it's appropriate. I wouldn't do that with the PTA moms at a high school. Right? When I plan on speaking, I'm going on a tour of all the private schools and then eventually some of the public schools as well, all across Miami-Dade and Broward County. I will hit Columbus, I promise. Okay? And I plan on speaking on mentorship and getting experience as a young individual and resume experience. And of course, my ultimate goal is to create relationships with the schools. So we have a feeder program from high school, from DECA programs, from college counselors, right to the Cutco M3 PG experience. That's the goal. But we're going to teach them public speaking. We're going to teach them how to interview. We're going to teach them how to write their resume. But when I speak to the professors, because I'm going to have to sit down and I'm going to have to pitch me taking time out of your curriculum and this guy, random Filipino guy from the Cutco knife job to speak to high school students and take time out of their curriculum, I better be able to speak appropriately. And skirts and gangs are probably not so appropriate, right? So know your audience. Know what type of style. Know if you're gonna leave the podium or not, if that's appropriate. Or giving the valedictorian speech probably doesn't justify you getting up and motivating people like this. How many of you have seen the valedictorian speak? Where are they always standing? On the podium. They're right behind the podium because it's more formal. Okay. Third thing, research your audience. So before you prep as you're prepping a message, know your audience. If you're giving an instructional message to a brand new rep training group, they're all between $1,000 and $10,000 in sales. That is probably not the time to teach them how to sell the Cutco kitchen. Right? When you're giving a message on excitement for the business and someone just starts, and let's say Mr. Gabriel here is in his first day of training, I'm giving a tip, I probably wouldn't say, yeah, go career with the company. You're going to be here forever. Because you might freak people out. So know your audience. If I'm giving an instructional message to a management team, and there are a lot of new district managers, I'm going to give very basic tips. If it's a division manager team, I'm going to give them all the goodies. Okay, so know your audience, point number 3. Point number 4, work in the crowd. Work the crowd. Not these events specifically. Okay, in these events, if you notice, before the meeting starts, where am I? Back or hiding. Has anyone, and God bless you if you have, tried to say hi and shake my hand right before this meeting? What happens?
I never get to ignore
You don't get it, right? You get shunned, respectfully. Why? Because I don't want energy, right? If I'm coming down the tunnelway for the game, I don't want people touching me because I want to be able to deliver 100%. Okay? You guys know Phil Jackson from the Chicago Bulls doesn't let anyone touch him from the locker room to the court. Okay, but who's been to an SLDM? Who's been to my office and met me? So what am I doing before you even start the meeting? Hey, Eddie, nice to meet you. Oh, yeah, you from Andrew's office. Nice to meet you. And I'm connecting. I'm building what? Rapport, and I'm connecting. So that later on, as I'm giving messages, and they can speak about the private schools, don't worry, Ricky, we'll go to Columbus. I have a connection with Ricky because I know he goes to Columbus High School. And now I'm connected, and I'm the cool public speaker that he wants to listen to. Right? Or if I know that Colin here goes to FSU and he loves to hang out with his friends on the beach, we talk about Yeti coolers, and all of a sudden the PR contest comes up and I say, and the next level is the Yeti cooler. Colin, you know what I'm saying right there. That's right. Colin goes, yes, he understands me. He knows. Okay? Why else do you work the crowd? You work the crowd so you know what's appropriate. You work the crowd so you know if you can connect with someone. You work the crowd if, let's say, Clay's had a hard time and didn't make his first sale until his 5th day on the job, and you're speaking, and you say, you know what, stick with it, everybody. And my man Clay's back there, it took him 5 days to make his first sale, and look what he's doing now, 10K fast starter. So now I've just tied him in just from simple conversation before the meeting. Understand so far? Yes?
Yeah.
Couple light bulbs? Okay. 4, rehearse. Okay? Rehearse. Write down 2 things. Write down memorize, and the next one write down internalize. Write down memorize, and write down internalize. Memorize and internalize. And put an X through memorize. How come you don't want to memorize your speech?
Because then it'll sound like you're just reading.
Because it sounds robotic and scripted. Because you can forget it. If you memorize and someone interrupts you, it's But if you internalize, it doesn't matter. And who knows the 2 things you do to internalize anything in life? Ready? Number 1 is
You're writing.
Practice. Right.
sure. Ready? Number 1, write this down. So to internalize, I'm using internalization. Number 1 is know the objectives or know the whys. Meaning, you don't just say it, you have to know why you're saying it. When you say Mrs. Jones, most people haven't had the opportunity to price fine cutlery. If you're just saying it, you don't understand why you're saying that because you're about to leverage with stuff, then it comes across as fake. So the first thing is to do what when you want to internalize? You know the why. Second, ready? Repetition. What do you do in training all the time? After every section you learn, you have to do what? Role play. Role play, role play, role play, role play, role play, role play. Any great tips whenever you guys come to conferences and you Taylor Max says something, or I teach you how to sell the kitchen, small, medium, large. Psh, oh my God, Jeff, I'm going to use that. No, you won't unless you practice it. Because practice makes what? Perfect. Nope.
Perfect practice.
Perfect practice makes perfect. You got to practice not just practicing, but practice what way?
Perfect.
The perfect way, the right way. Okay? So think of things in your youth that you grow up and things that are repeated over and over and over again. When you internalize something, you can't mess it up. ABCs. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Right? So if someone interrupts you, A, B, Jeff, what? 1 second, I'm doing the ABCs. C, D, E. 1 second. F, G, H. I told you, I'm on the G. G, H, I. You already know where you're at. You don't have to worry about it. If you have it memorized, who's ever, and I've done this, who's memorized something and you've spent all night memorizing it, and then they called on you and you just lost it, right? In my high school, it was all boys prep school. We had to memorize certain poems, and if they called on you, it was like drill for skill. And they called on you, and I'll never forget Dr. Fitzpatrick calling on me. And he's this country man. He said, Gamboa, boy, you're up. Boy, you were up. And you know why he called me? Because he knew. This was me right before the class. And all my friends were laughing. The quality of mercy is not strained. It dropped to the side. He goes, boy, do you know it? Okay, continue. I don't know it. Sit down. And you got a 1, 2, or 3. And I got a 1. Because you can't memorize it, you have to do what? Internalize it. Make the point? Yes, give me 1. Got it? Okay. So internalizing, practice. That means maybe rehearse in front of a mirror. Some of you, you know this. When you practice your interview, how do you practice it sometimes? In front of magazines, in front of stuffed animals, in front of empty chairs. I remember as a branch manager candidate sitting in front of a table with 4 empty chairs. Chair number 1, so what would you say is the answer? Okay, great. Chair number 2, so the reason we run the interview in a group session is because it just saves a lot of time. You know what I'm saying, number 3, right? I would run it for chairs because I was getting the repetition, the practice. And then last but not least, know your stage or know your area. Know your stage or know your area. Know your stage or know your area. So in this case, it's a stage, or it's the front of the room. So know, for example, wires. Know the steps on the stage. Don't be the manager that that's going to give a talk runs up the stage and falls up the stage. You ever seen someone fall up steps? True story. Not me, someone else. Know that sometimes the stage has sections and blocks that are put together that might be a little creased, so if you're not careful, you might trip. True story. Not me. Okay. Know if you're using a mic, if it works. If you're at a table and if you're at the team meeting and this is your table at the front of the room, know where things are positioned. Know where your information is. If you're going to talk about the petite carver and why it's so great, hey everybody, let me tell you today, the objective of my message is to tell you why the petite carver rocks. One second. Where's the? You already lost people's attention. You lost people's respect. Okay. Know your stage. Know how it sounds. Do a mic check. Know the volume. I already know that I don't need a mic for this room because I practiced it before. So far so good. Got it? Okay. So I'm going to stop there for a second. Which one of those stand out, even from the vets? What stands out? New and vet alike. Ricky.
Don't memorize, internalize.
Don't memorize, internalize. When you run an interview, it's scripted, it's a script, but you have to internalize it. So when people give you stupid question answers, like, yeah, so Luke, would you say 1 + 1 = what? 2, okay, and someone gives you the wrong answer. Mr. Pepper, so 1 + 1 = 4? No, absolutely not. Anyone else?
6.
You can do that, but if you have it memorized, right, 1 + 1 = 4. Wait, that's not the answer. And you'll see later on, if you have it wrong, like for example, if you just memorize page 9 and 10 or 8 and 9, you're closing, and the customer gives you the wrong answer or something out of nowhere. Mrs. Jones, so can you see at twice the quality and twice the value should be twice the price? How much is that one knife? That's not in the script. Raise your hand if you've done that. Say I. You're like, that's not in order. That's not here. Okay. When you have it internalized, you can stop and say, Mrs. Jones, that is an awesome question. Cutco is not cheap. In fact, it's really expensive, probably too expensive for you. That's why a lot of people use the payment plans to invest, but I'll talk to you about that later, okay? That's random, right? Okay? Blake.
Yeah, you just really need to know why you're saying certain things. If you don't know your why you're saying something, you can also use this tool as well.
Okay. Any more? 2 more.
The appropriate style for your message, knowing like the right time, like the right situation.
Yep. Last one, Eddie.
Definitely the stage, because I know whenever I've done presentations, if I like put a knife in one spot right before I close, then they kind of think about it a second longer and say no.
That's right. And if you're giving a message in front of people, you just need to know your audience, know your stage. Okay. Second part, I want to talk to you about structuring your message for a second. This is still part of preparing your message. I want to talk to you about your structure. The great CEO of business, I would say mega businessman, Lee Iacocca. Anyone familiar with Lee Iacocca? Who can tell me who Lee Iacocca is? Founded?
Iacocca.
Founded, not Iacocca, not Coca-Cola. Good guess. General Electric, GE. Okay. And he said, whenever you're giving a public message, whenever you're giving a speech, whenever you're giving a talk, okay, I want to preface this. In Vector, we don't give speeches. A speech is when you're in front of an audience, and it's word for word delivered. Okay, not to talk politics, but there are lots of speeches going on, word for word. Sometimes you do want a speech. Most of what we do in Vector are talks or messages. I'm going to give you a talk today on how to close bigger sales. I want to give you a message today. John Heisman gave a talk today on how to deliver a virtual appointment. So Lee Iacocca, when he spoke about speaking, you tell them what you're going to tell them. You tell them, and then you tell them what you just told them. Write that down. You tell them what you're going to tell them. You tell them, and you tell them what you just told them. One more time. You tell them what you're going to tell them. Second thing is what? You tell them. And the third thing is you tell them what you just told them. So for example, if my message is virtual appointments, Mr. Heisman. Hey everybody, I'm excited to be here. The objective of my message today is I'm going to talk to you about virtual appointments. I want to say why they're awesome. I want to talk to you how to get the most and maximize the sales. And I'm going to tell you how to get lots of recommendations. So first, why virtual demos are awesome. ... Second point, I want to tell you how you can maximize the sale. ... And then finally, let me tell you how you get more recommendations on virtual appointments. ... So in closing, Virtual appointments are awesome. Make sure you get them. Here's how you execute, and here's how you get more. Go get them. Have an awesome virtual demo. Okay, let me use it into any terms. You can do it for any topic. Give me a random, anyone, raise your hand, give me a random topic. Bananas, sure. Hey everybody, thanks for your time today. I'm so fired up to talk to you about bananas. I want to talk to you about why bananas are awesome, why they're healthy, why the color's just so awesome, and how you too can experience bananas. First point number one, bananas are just wonderful pieces of fruit. They're natural from the earth, and they're super, super delicious. They go into anything from extensive gourmet dishes to beautiful desserts like bananas Foster, my favorite. Second point I want to tell you is that bananas are healthy. They're full of potassium, which really can recharge your body in times of depletion. Third thing I want to tell you is they're just an amazing, amazing piece of fruit that just brings joy. I mean, they're so yellow. And number four, you can get more bananas by just going to Publix. So in closing, bananas are awesome. They're healthy. They're yellow. They make you happy. And you can get them at Publix. Go get some bananas, everybody. See you later. Right? Right? Any topic. Tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them what you just told them. Tell them what you're going to tell them, and tell them what you just told them. Yes? Okay, give me another topic.
Chewbacca rocks.
What is it?
Chewbacca rocks.
Chewbacca rocks, okay. I'm so excited today. The objective of my message today is about Chewbacca. I want to talk to you about who Chewbacca is, why he's important, and how you too can bring out the inner Chewbacca in you. Chewbacca is the trusty sidekick of Han Solo. This furry Wookiee is not only loyal, but powerful, strong, and uses a laser crossbow. Okay? He's amazing because you can't understand what he says, but you kind of understand what he says. And if you want to bring out your inner Chewbacca, just pick up episode 4, 5, and 6 and enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, Chewbacca's awesome. He's got a lot going for him, and you too can bring out your inner Chewbacca. Keep it together. All right? So you should be, and here, aside from that being really entertaining, why do you tell them what you're going to tell them, and then go and wrap up with what you told them? Who can tell me?
So they remember.
So they remember. One main thing. Heisman. Repetition. Blake. Engage.
Everyone remembers the first thing you said and the last thing.
That's it. Say it again. Everyone remembers?
The first thing you said and the last thing you said.
Yeah. All the stuff is in between. Okay? Yeah? Okay. Introduction. Let's talk about introing the message. Here are 4 ways, and there are many ways, but the 4 primary ways we're going to work with you this fall and spring, especially in TLA. How to open a message. Number 1, you can open up with a story. And I'll have you write the 4 down. You can open up with a story, number 1. Number 2, you can open up with a joke. Number 1, a story. Number 2, a joke. Number 3, you can open up with facts. Compelling facts to draw the attention of the audience. And number 4, with compelling questions. I'll say it again. You can open up with a story. Number 2, you can open up with jokes. Or a joke. Number 3, you can open up with facts. Number 4, you can open up with questions. So let me give you an example of a story. Okay. There's this wealthy businessman who ran the majority of the town. In this small, obscure town, there was this really, really famous, dangerous river. And in this river were poisonous snakes, jagged rocks, and at times during the heavy rain season, really heavy floods that caused people to slip, and multiple deaths occurred while people trying to cross this river. So the businessman called the whole town to the river, and he called everyone in this town, all 200 people in this town, small town. And he was on the other side in with his helicopter by and his megaphone. He said, "Hey everybody, I'm looking for the bravest young man in this whole town. I want to know who I'm going to entrust my trust, my loyalty, and my business with. So the young man who can cross this river," and before he could finish, someone dove into the river. The whole town went to the side. Everyone was watching. And this guy was trying to get through the poisonous snakes. He was jumping over these jagged rocks, and people were just holding their breath. And he made it to the other side, and the crowd erupted. And they all ran around the bridge to the other side. And the young man was bent over and gasping for air. And the businessman said, young man, you are the bravest man in this town. So what would you like? How much money would you like? He said, sir, I don't want your money. He said, you a businessman. You a smart boy. You want stake in my business. What position would you like? You're a smart man. He said, no, sir, I don't want stake in your business either. You don't want money. You don't want to be part of my business. Smart man. Which one of my daughters would you like to marry? No, sir, respectfully, I am married. I don't want your money, and I don't want your business. Young man, you don't want my money. You dove across this river, almost died. Young man, you don't want my business. Across this river, you almost died. Young man, you don't want my money. You across this river, almost died. You don't want my daughter's hand in marriage. What do you want? I said, sir, I want to know the son of a bitch who pushed me in. Sometimes in life, we just need a push to get going towards our goals. So the objective of my message today is motivating yourself and motivating others. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so the end of the punchline was what? He got pushed. And I tried to, and you know, sometimes in life we just need a push. That's what I'm here to talk to you about today. How to create that inner push and motivation. See that? That's a story. Yeah. That's not my story. Okay. Second way to open a message, a joke. Okay? We all know punchlines and jokes. It's the same effect. I won't go through a full joke, but it's the same effect, right? Start with a joke, and the punchline, then at the very end, people laugh, and sometimes it's just to get people's attention. Third way to open up a message is fact. So bring up the speaker, Mr. Jeff Gamboa. Fact. 18 to 25-year-olds today are having the hardest time finding jobs now more than ever. Fact, unemployment is at its all-time high. Fact, many of you know people who are working in an industry not related to your major. Fact, people won't hire you because you don't have experience. But then you can't get a job to get the experience. Fact, Generation Y is on a decline in terms of its average income according to U.S. News and World Report. I'm here to talk to you about TLA and how that can change all that right now. The objective of my message, yes? Okay, so that's fact. And then question, right? Question. What makes you happy? Who makes you happy? Why? Finding that inner potential is really important. That's what I want to talk to you about today. Unlocking your inner potential and happiness. Just start with questions. So story, joke, fact, and then last one is what? Questions. Okay. We'll stop there. Feedback on how to open. What are you taking away? Even vets, because vets, I think we can all increase our public speaking prowess, because we're going to be the division that everyone wants to talk to about public speaking, that I can tell you. Takeaways just from opening. Luke.
I mean, I know all the talks I've done, I usually like to start with either question or story, and kind of fact it and joke ones kind of fall under the radar, under the rug. And I just kind of forgot about those. It's getting kind of spark those again.
Okay. Sometimes we forget because we've done so many things a certain way. Clace.
I usually like to start with an anecdote, but when I took a class, they said not to open the questions also. It's interesting seeing that reverse.
Sure, and it depends. You know, that class, I don't know for sure. That class may have been referring to a technical message. It depends on the type of message, for sure. Yeah. And I think in the context of what we do, we're trying to captivate a crowd. That's one tool we found has been helpful. But, you know, for your professors or wherever they're teaching, that might be the rule for them. So.
There's different ways to get your audience's attention.
Yeah, and obviously, if you know my personality, which one do I lean towards? What do I like? I like stories and jokes. I'm a funny guy, and I'm a storyteller.
Well, definitely know your audience before you kind of write your, talk.
Okay.
So you know what you can open up with.
Okay. Good.
I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but I know a tone of voice and how you present yourself really captures your audience.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that, but absolutely, I agree with you. Yes, sir. Ben.
Just using these different tools to kind of capture your audience will really give you confidence and will be an overall better performance.
Of course, performance, message, speech, everything.
Sometimes starting can be the hardest part of writing speech. So knowing and understanding the concise way you want to start
for you to have a really clean speech overall.
Okay. Any other vets? Just takeaways from as we start here? Okay. So the next part of the message would be the actual body. Okay, so we've talked about preparing for your message. We talked about introducing your message, and then the body. And then after the body, of course, comes what? Closing. So what I want to do is I want to give you some thoughts on the body and the closing, specifically on delivery, we'll call this. So you can put this in your notes as delivery. 3 numbers I want you to write down. 55%, 30%, and 15. 55, 30, and 15. You guys know where I'm going with this, some of you. It's from training. 55, 30, and 15. 55, 30, and 15. 15% of communication are the words that you use. You can write that in. This should sound familiar. 15% of communication are the words that you use. Yeah, the words that you choose to use. So some people speak really eloquently and their vernacular is to the highest degree. Some people just say, they be speaking well, you know what I mean? 2 different languages. I can switch it on and off very quickly. Right? You have 2 different languages. It's the words. 30% is voice inflection. 30% of a message that you speak, communication rather, is the voice inflection. So certainly it's not what you say, it's what, everybody? Yeah, so if you're really excited, this is how you say you're excited. But if you're not excited, people kind of know about how you're saying it. I use this example, my mom would always spring this random Sunday trips on us. Hey, we're gonna go visit, my aunt was just 2.5 hours. We're gonna go visit your Aunt Miriam in Virginia. Oh, great, Mom, so excited. Can't wait. Or those of you that have a significant other, say, I love you. Yeah, I love you too. Oh. Or, you know what? It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Mrs. Jones, the secret to Cutco, and I'm going to share this with you right now. It's called our double D edge. May I show you this real quick? So it's 2 points. So what am I doing? It's serious. It's a secret. So let's talk about it like this. You guys see that? So it's not what you say, it's how you say it. About 55% of communication is body language. It's body language. Body language. It's not what you say, it's how you say it, but actions speak louder than words. Without saying anything, I can convey an emotion right now.
Nice.
Right? I can convey an emotion right now. Right? I can convey emotion right now. Right? Not that you'd ever look at someone like that. Right? So it's not what you say, it's how you say it, but actions speak louder than the words. So keep that in mind as you're giving a message to people. So body language. Let me talk to you about some body language keys. This will be for your presentations. This will be for when you run interviews in the Cutco office. This will be when you give presentations. One of my jobs was a Cintas Corporation, which is one of the #1 manufacturers of business-to-business uniforms. That was one of the companies that accepted me. And part of my interview was to sell something, sell this pen kind of deal. Same thing. And they have you get up in front of people and you have to be poised. And one of the comments, the recruiter's name was Rick something. This was back in 2000. Rick something said, you know what? I've never seen someone so poised, so young in front of adults. TLA trained. No, I didn't say that. Right? So hands, okay? Let me give you a couple thoughts about your hands. Really important. Number 1, imagine you're in a pool of water. Your hand should never go below your waist. Just take a look at how weak it looks. Hi, the objective of my message today is awkward body language. Right? So hands up, always above your waist, because when I do this, it doesn't really matter. I'm always powerful. My hands are always up. And it doesn't matter where I'm walking. I'm always going to keep my hands above my head. If I'm running an interview, I'm going to run the interview like this. Okay? I'm going to run the interview like this. If I'm giving a message, if I'm in the podium, my hands are on top of the podium. So never let your hands go below. Okay? Now, also pick your default hand motion. Okay, so let me give you a couple that are FC favorites. Ready? There's the palm up. So I'm really excited to talk to you today about a topic that's near and dear to my heart, and that's Chewbacca. Ready? There's the fist. I'm so excited to get you into TLA today. And you'll start to figure out what hands really match with what you're saying. Because if you're excited and powerful versus, hey, we're here to help. But we're not here to help. We're here to help. We're here to help. Okay? And you'll learn this in TLA. How you hold your hand out when you shake someone's hand all makes all the difference. When you're inviting, you're in control, or you're neutral. You'll learn that in TLA. So if I'm speaking to a young lady, hi young lady, nice to meet you. And a lot of times you might intimidate a young woman, not intentionally. So I'm gonna shake her hand, palm up, and welcome her, be greeting, inviting, let her take my hand. Nice to meet you, how are you? Pleasure. But if I got Luke Maseko here, a big football player, and he looks a little cocky and intimidating, Luke, nice to meet you, Jeff Gamboa. I'm gonna hold his hand down, and I'm gonna put my palm on top, because I'm on top, I'm in control. Or if I don't know, it's like, hey, pleasure to meet you, right? If I know if someone's really touchy-feely and they're really like, really connected, I'll come up and say, nice to meet you, right? And we have a whole TLA session on how to shake hands almost, okay? Because you never get a second chance to make what? First impression. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, okay? Part of it is mirroring. And this goes back to your customers. If you have a customer that's like this, yeah, tell me about that price. So let me tell you about the price. Right back. You have a customer that says, hi, come on in. Oh, thanks, Mrs. Jones. Nice to be here. Nice to meet you. My name's Jeff, like I said on the phone. If I have a really reserved audience, I'm not going to get up and say, are you guys ready for my message? Right? I'm with a bunch of, I speak to moms all the time, whether it's from our Cutco at home, sometimes we have parents meetings, and I'll say, hey moms, I just wanted, right? I'm gonna talk to the moms because I've already gone around and talked to all the moms and get a gauge of what the majority of the moms are like, and they're mostly reserved and kind of quiet and skeptical, and they're just, I was just kind of nervous for Colin because he's been working a lot. And okay, Mrs. Jones, well, Mrs. Pepper, we'll get to that in the meeting. I'll start the meeting. Hey everybody, I just want to say we're here, we're excited. We want to talk to you about your kids today. And you know what they say when you mirror customers and moms and people in the audience? They go, man, I really get him. Right? True story, right? A psychologist was talking about mirroring where he would have patients and the patients weren't connecting with their psychiatrist or psychologist. And then they had a patient that was like, doc, I don't think this works. No, I think, no, stop talking. You're not gonna convince me because you're not mirroring. And then he took the other strategy. Doc, I don't think this works. I think it's gonna work. And you sit down because we're gonna make this work. Okay, yeah, you're right. I really get you, Doc. You get me. Right? Try this. When you're speaking to people, right? Match their body language. If their hands are on the table, put your hands on the table for a little bit. Not like right after. If someone crosses their legs and they're hanging out, then eventually you cross your legs. Okay? Someone's leaning back, eventually start to lean back, and you'll notice people will start to connect with you, and they'll say, man, that Colin guy, something about it, it's just really easy to talk to him, or he's a really good listener. Okay, so mirroring, back to hands, right? Palms up, there's palms down, okay? Fist of fury, ready? Triangle of power.
Andrew.
Open your eyes, everybody. Triangle of power. Okay? Okay. Spear of power. Okay. And I'm just making names on the spot, but ready? So, triangle. Right? I'm so excited to talk to all of you today. And you want to have we call that your resting point. So some of you, resting point is here. So I'm excited, and if you keep it, it keeps your hands from doing all this, right? Have you ever seen someone speak like this, right? If you just go back to here. So today the objective of my message is TLA, why TLA is exciting, and what TLA can do for you. So, right, sometimes it's here in the interview. First of all, my name is Jeff Gamboa. I'm the division manager here in our Fort Lauderdale office. And I want to first start off by saying and explaining why we run the group interview the way that we do. And then you can go off here, but then come back home. And watch, I'll take out mute Jeff. Or maybe it's like this, and you can do one hand. Sometimes we like one hand pocket, but remember you want to keep one hand above always, and back up. You switch up, but never this. Don't do that, all right? This is okay, depending. Right? I usually do this when I'm asking the question. So, who are your circles of influence? Write them down. Write them down. Or, are you ready? Write them down. Okay? You always want to keep your hands above, and you don't want flailing hands. So that's why you want to come to a resting point. So I would say top 3 most popular, triangle, and not awkward high triangle. Right? And not resting low triangle, because then your hands are below your waist, and that's not powerful either. It's got to be just natural. Okay? Sometimes it's sphere. Okay? For the ladies, for some reason, if you've been in TLA, you know for ladies, I love this one. Because it's ladylike, but it's just enough to not mess with you. Right? Right? So what was your question? See? What was your question? You can keep it. If you're the hand flailer, just keep it the whole time, like glue it. Right? Okay. Standing. This is a big one. So when you're standing, be careful not to be the pacer, because then eventually people start to pay attention to you walking back and forth. Okay. Standing. No hip lock. Right? Right, and then you start noticing this instead, okay? So just lock your knees. This is the best possible. When you're running an interview, standing up straight. And it's okay to walk back and forth, just not too much, right? So overall style. I think this is kind of subjective, but you have to look at different styles. I highly encourage you to go to YouTube and look up different public speakers giving different messages, from an Anthony Robbins, who many of you have heard from, to political messages. I even encourage to look at all different types of speeches. Anyone that's a public speaker or motivational leader, it's great to see different styles, and you really find yourself kind of gravitating towards a certain style. Okay. For example, Scott Dennis, you guys know from our region. Scott's very presidential. Right? He never leaves the podium. Right? And he always looks at his notes, and he's always nodding his head. Yeah. When I think about, that's his thing. And when I think about our company, when I think about it, it's very presidential. When you think of me, forget the podium, right? I'm never nervous. In fact, I'm dancing around on stage probably. You have to really try and mimic. And try to find 3 people you really connect with, where you feel like, wow, as I watch this YouTube video, I am compelled to watch this person. Write those 3 people down, right? Write down the things that make it compelling with their style of message and speaking, and watch them frequently, and you'll find yourself starting to mimic those people. Who here on the TLA team already has people that they mimic for public speaking in general? Who would you say you look at? Brian Hurlman, okay, because you run his training. Okay, Obama, yeah, his acceptance speech, man, that thing was pretty cool. His first acceptance speech. What else? Yeah. Karina, yeah, you're a respected manager. Isn't it so funny that the branches that come from each manager have the same jokes? Right? Many of you, if you're say I. All of Karina's crew is going to do that at some point. Right? And here, moving down from number 8 to number 9, no longer 1, 2, 3, see you later, bye. There's another from South Miami. Yeah, she's done that forever, and everyone from her office does that in their office too. Everyone from my office, you do the death stare. We're gonna sell a lot. I'm just kidding. We don't do that. This is kind of a offshoot, but dress for success. When you're giving a message, gentlemen, ladies, put your best foot forward. Dress to impress. Wear your most polished outfit. And we're going to have a TLA session in October about business fashion. And contrary to belief, I know that most 18 to 25-year-olds have a chance to dress up for the first time. But things like, gentlemen, the belt and shoe combo kind of deal. different types of suits to wear, the pocket squares, and what's appropriate, what's inappropriate, what's considered casual, what's considered appropriate, what kind of shoes to wear with outfits. Ladies, I guess what's appropriate for you as well. And going from wearing cute dresses, and a lot of you have really cute dresses on, that's great, but going from cute dresses to killer business suits and business outfits, right? And that's the kind of the progression. So always wear and dress to impress. Eye contact. This is one of my favorites. So eye contact. If you have a larger room, break the room up into quadrants. And if you notice, I've been doing this the whole time. So this is quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4. So stay on a quadrant and don't worry about the other 3. So the objective of my message today is to talk to all of you about why TLA is going to be such a big benefit for your career and why it can help you for your future. So many of you are competing to get into TLA, and even though these guys are right in front of me, it might feel awkward. I'm focused on quadrant 2 because that's who I'm paying attention to, and you're going to talk to them. Watch. So I'll mute. Back, right? So you literally can go in a circle if you like, or you can go back, but break it up into quadrants and take your time and hold eye contact. Now let's say you only have an interview of 3 people, and you have 3 quadrants. So first thing I like to just talk about why, Ricky, we have the interview formatted the way that we do. And I don't worry about these 2. And the reason we have the interview the way that we do is because, Ricky, we just find it's a lot more efficient to do it that way. And so Diego, one of the other things we like to do is meet one-on-one at the end to get a more specific idea of what kind of candidates we have and who we're working with. And then finally, what we'll be able to do is wrap up and take final decision with regular life. Before you guys need to know. Okay. Does that make sense for all 3 of you gentlemen? Okay, good luck in your interview today. So hold eye contact. And it's uncomfortable already, more so for them. And now who's in control? You. Yeah, you are. Okay. Side note, most of you don't give many messages with microphones. But if you do, number 1, don't eat the mic. Because sometimes people talk like this for a while, and don't hip hop the mic. Don't hip hop the mic, don't eat the mic. And don't put the mic so far that you can't hear what the hell you're saying. That's why you do a mic check. Most of you don't have mics, so that's not that big of a deal. Okay. I'll stop there for a second. Body language. Takeaways from the body language section. Yes?
Eye contact. Always.
Always eye contact.
And hand placements for different topics.
Okay, kind of. See I'm leaning? Let me show you something really small, really cool. Whenever someone's giving feedback, right? For example, raise your hand. Random people raise your hand. Okay, Ricky, watch. I'll step away from Ricky, and I'll lean this way, so I'm out of the field of view. Ricky's talking, not me. Pay attention when I'm speaking. So let's say, Eldrick, raise your hand. Who's got some feedback? Eldrick, go ahead. What did you think of the talk?
That was pretty bad. I don't know, I was thinking about it.
Okay, so it's almost like, hey, you're looking at me. I'm trying to get. Hey, look at him. Don't look at me. So I'm gonna move opposite side of the room and lean to the side, almost like I'm out of the picture, he's the picture. See the little things like that? Okay, go ahead. Wait.
Bye.
Go ahead.
The hands flailing. I know I didn't do that.
Yeah, especially people who are very eccentric and like to talk with their hands, as people say. Yeah, control that. In the back.
55%
That's right, body language.
The dress, and I've personally learned a lot. I've gotten a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, because I love fashion, we're going to cover some A's and B's. In fact, I think I'm going to bring in my stylist guy. He's going to come into one of our TLAs, Daniel Falcone. He's going to give a whole session on fashion. It's going to be pretty cool. He's awesome. He's actually in New York now for made-to-measure training on how to do custom tailor suits. Right now, he's in New York. He's originally from Miramar, Florida. Awesome guy.
The whole mirroring thing.
Okay.
Mirroring your the person you're speaking to or the people you're speaking to.
Good.
I love the quadrants. Feel like you're connecting to everyone, even though it's like a big group of people.
Yeah, and it can be 3 people. It doesn't have to be. Same.
Find a happy medium that's for yourself. Don't be with the ace back and forth. Don't be stationary. Don't have your hands everywhere. You don't be deadlifting. It's just fine.
Yeah, it takes practice. You know, the greatest thing you can do for yourself is tape yourself. It's really painful the first few times when you watch it. Other take. How about seniors? Senior TLA. Sure, current managers. Reminders, things that are standing out from this time around. Antoine. Yes, we're going to get to that, but I'll cover that now. Have your point people. Point people are people that you're connected to, and they're the ones that A, laugh at all your jokes. B, like this all the time. They're the people that give you energy. Whenever you ever heard someone give a message, you're like, ooh, tough crowd. Everyone's kind of quiet, right? Look for that point person who gives you energy. Ricky's one of my point people because ever since I met him at the SLDM, everything I say, this guy nods his head and is just eating it up. Every time, still now, even now, he's like, yeah, I'm eating it up. I'm eating it up right now. He is tied into me. Colin, today, you've been my point person for this message. Eldrick, you've always been a point person. And if I can really finagle it, I'll make sure they spread around the room. So let's say Kayleen's one, okay? All right, let's say Eldrick's one, let's say Sammy, let's say Abrumi. Right? So I'll walk around the room, and then if I need to connect and really make a point, I know I can look at Kayleen and make that point. Then I'll walk around and maybe tough crowd, kind of quiet, but I know that if you get really excited, this is what it's all about, Sammy, TLA. And it's gonna give me energy, and people are gonna look at her and go, well, she's nodding. It's funny, guilty by association. Circle of influence, it works even in messages, okay? Yeah, a little bit. Other takeaways from seniors. Some friendly reminders.
So I'm comparing this to my notes from last year. I was looking at the point person thing, and in parentheses I had Eldrick Clapp sitting in the front. So.
Yeah, that was Eldrick. Excited. And look at you now. Look at me now. Ready? Voice inflection. Let's talk about voice inflection. I think it's really important that you have the right volume. Because if you don't have the right volume, the people in the back can't hear what you're saying. Right? So for some of you, don't speak too loud. You really can't hear. And now it's for Cal in the back. Can you hear what I'm saying? Can you barely hear what I'm saying? Because I'm talking to you. So make sure you have volume, but also don't be the yeller. We have yellers in our region, and SC2 is what it's all about. And I think it's like, man, right? And there are people in our region, and there are people in messages. It's too loud or too soft. You got to find the right balance. Okay. Ready? Write this down. The power of silence. The power of silence. 3 things you can utilize this tool of silence for. Number 1, when you screw up. You don't know this, but twice I've lost my place in this message completely. But when I do, I simply stop. Okay. Did I lack in confidence right there, what you saw? Ready? Okay, right? Use silence. Don't feel like you have to speak when you don't know what's going on. Sometimes silence is the best thing. So when you lose your place, number 2, to be intense. Be intense to make your point. Because if you don't start saving now, you're going to be in a world of hurt 10, 15, 20 years later. You're going to regret it. And if you're in the audience, like, oh, I better pay attention to that one. Okay, so if you lose your place, if you want to make a point, be intense. Don't be afraid to use water when you mess up. Let's talk about the words for a second. So let's talk about that 15%. The words are important. Please write this down. Bullets versus word for word. Bullets versus word for word. Word for word is a speech. A message, when you're public speaking, are bullets. And make sure you number your bullets. Because if you lose your notes and they fall to the ground by accident, and you put them back in the wrong order, you don't have them numbered, you're in trouble. I've done that before. And you have to be silent. Inside my head, I'm going, where am I going? So bullets, not words. When you're writing whole things out, the only thing you would write word for word in my notes are actual quotes that you might want to say. Districts and branches, we're going to take your public speaking to a higher level. In fact, I'm thinking about adding public speaking training to every TLA prep for the next level group. And we're going to cover things like how to put together a keynote, to advanced ways to present. If you've ever seen me give a message, even my opening comments, where are my notes? I don't have notes. My notes are the keynote. So ready? One slide goes up, I know all the things I'm going to say on that slide. Next slide goes up, I know all the things I'm going to say on that slide. So NLG, does that sound good? We'll do some speaker training.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. Okay. So let me give you some don'ts. This is fun. Ready? Here are the do nots. Here are the do nots. Don't go so fast that people can't get the information, right? So let me give you this killer tip, okay? When the customer said, oh, can I buy pieces? Say, Mrs. Jones, you can totally buy pieces. Sometimes we'll give tips, and we'll give all the tips so fast people can't get it down, and you move to the next thing. And people can't take notes. So what can help you in that situation? If you have like a longer tip to give, slow down, but also have what?
Break it up.
Break it up, slow down.
Be concise.
Uh-huh.
Silence.
What's that? It's not what you say, it's
How you say it.
but actions speak.
Louder than words.
So if actions speak louder than words, what can visually help people to see and retain the information?
Show it to them.
Show it to them. Where?
On the screen.
On your PowerPoint keynote or in a handout. Hey everybody, I have this killer phrase. It's how to open up your presentation. The notes are already in your handout, so don't worry about word for word, you got it. But I just want you to watch me and see how it feels so you can be the customer. See what happens there? Now people aren't taking notes. Sometimes when you speak so fast and you give these awesome fire tips, you speak so fast, people are worried about getting the words down that they don't even process the whys. And if you want to internalize, you have to get the whys. So far, so good? Got it? Don't keep using fillers. Five total? I didn't get the other ones. Sorry, my bad. It's my fault. Right. Like, here are the top fillers. Like, and,
So yeah.
so, and so, yeah. Basically. So catch yourself with fillers. Also, fillers sound uneducated. Like you would never see a politician like talk about why you should like vote for me.
Oh,
Small one, don't chew gum. That's an easy one. With your eye contact, aside from the quadrants, right? Don't be a pendulum where you're not even making any eye contact. It's almost just you're trying to make eye contact that you don't make any. Right? So one of the objectives of my message today is to make sure that you guys all understand, I'm not even looking at anyone in the eye, I'm just kind of panning back and forth. Also, don't be a horizon looker. You can write that down. So one of the things I want to talk to you today is about how I'm awkwardly looking back into space. And I'm not looking at any of you in my eyes, and no matter how great my body language is, the eyes make it awkward. Like, who is he looking at? Okay? Don't leave before you're about to give a talk. Anyone know why? Like, listen to the 2 or 3 speakers before you, if not everyone speaking before you. Anyone know why, Antoine? So you don't repeat what they're saying. Right? Let's say Luke's up here and he's giving a motivational talk and he tells the story of the businessman in the river. Right? And I'm not in the room, and he comes up and, great job. Now to wrap up our meeting, Mr. Jeff Gamboa. I want to tell you this awesome story about the businessman in the river. Right? You seem uneducated, and people know you weren't paying attention. Okay? Yes, sir.
So you get a sense of the audience?
Say it one more time.
So you get a sense of the audience?
Oh, I'm sorry, you're answering. I apologize. Yeah, so you can get a sense of the audience, but really just so you don't repeat, and also so you can pull things from the different messages. If someone tells a funny joke, you can reference back to the joke. If someone gives a great tip, you can go back to the tip. There's nothing more powerful than a speaker who's at the end of the meeting and says, and you know, at the beginning, Luke talked about his branch experience and how his dad really was skeptical, but look what happened. And you reference 3 talks because it shows that you're aware of your surroundings. Okay? Don't get up and tell people this is your first talk. That's automatically discrediting you. Ready? Worst thing to do. Okay, hey everybody. This is my first message, so you might as well say, hey, don't listen to me. So Don't say this is your first message, and don't say, hey, I'm not prepared for this. You've seen it before, right? Yeah, I'm really not prepared, so don't have too many closings, okay? So remember we say, tell them what you're gonna tell them, and tell them what you just told them when you say in closing. But don't keep saying in closing and close 10 minutes later. So in closing, 2 more stories. In closing means you're gonna close pretty soon. Got it? Okay, last few. Don't have too many inside jokes. Right? So when you're speaking, don't have too many inside jokes where you say, hey Luke, right? Like with that one time with the food truck, toothpaste, and the ferry. Yeah, oh man. What? Then you're losing credibility. No inside jokes and tangents. Don't start with, how's everyone doing? Because if they're not doing well, you're screwed. Or you can be witty. Ready? How's everyone doing? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I've done that. But just don't start with, how's everyone doing? Don't go off the timekeeper. If the timekeeper is giving you times, make sure you follow the times. It's really important. And don't acknowledge the timekeeper, like I did. Okay? Don't acknowledge the timekeeper. What? Is that 10 minutes? Okay, thanks. Don't do what I just did. And don't thank people at the end. There's not one of my biggest pet peeve. One of my biggest is when you give a message, you taught, you engage, got people excited, and you end with thank you. It's like a roomie's an actor. You're not acting. It's not thank you, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go out and have an SC2 push for the ages. Thank you. Don't thank people. Ready? They should thank you, right? Okay. So I'm going to wrap things up. In closing, there are a lot of great things that you can learn from public speaking. Public speaking is a valuable tool here with Cutco and what we do. You have to prepare your speech. You have to work the crowd, get things ready, have a great intro, deliver, and close in proper fashion. And if you take these comments that we practiced today, put these into practice through TLA through the fall and spring, you too can be an excellent public speaker. Thank you. No, I'm just kidding. I know we're a little tight on time, but I just want to encourage you to come back. This is going to be broadcasted on our YouTube page, so you can go back to this and watch this. Got it? Okay, so I'm going to wrap things up by bringing up our fearless MC, or am I just wrapping things up here?
I'm just excited for TLA. Like TLA is gonna change our